Well, I told David in July already that I'm still bullish the US dollar. I think we are in a liquidity crisis, and I think that this will unfortunately not change anytime soon. So most of the asset classes are in a bear market, and they will likely remain under pressure, generally speaking.
2020.
Gold will continue to outperform the stock market and Bitcoin and the other cryptos simply because it's a safe haven, old school, boring but good investment, and people need it. And so it will do better than everything else.
But
But
the
against
US
the
dollar?
dollar, it will still remain challenging. It can always pop a little bit. The situation is so oversold in all markets. You can always have a quick short squeeze. But I don't think the bigger picture is changing anytime soon. I guess it's going to be more like creeping sideways somewhere between 18 and 20K. Again, also Bitcoin can always have a quick bounce because it's also oversold. But at some point, I expect rather that this 18K support level will break. And then we could actually lose quickly another 30, 40, 50%. And I see the 10K level. There is an open gap in the Bitcoin future, slightly below 10K. We are in a crypto winter, as you rightly said. And they have always been painful. The crypto sector is a boom and bust sector like no other. So you have these a few thousand% on the upside, but you also have these retracements of 80, 90%. Most of the altcoins are down 90, 95, even some 99%. And it's always been like this, and unfortunately it's the same this time. And it's needed because there's been so much scam and so much bad projects in the sector. And we have to have a time where they are all basically are getting weeded out. So that's the process we're in right now. It's very painful, I understand, especially for people who are fully invested, hodling through this winter. But at the end of it will hopefully bring a new bull market at some point. Usually those crypto winters last 20 to 27 months. So we are in, roughly speaking, a year, maybe a little bit less. So expect another half a year at least, maybe a year. And then the Bitcoin halving in 2024, I think, will bring some light and it's maybe the start of a new bull market. Then, yes, once the halving has happened, the whole sector very likely will be in a new bull market, and then it's a question of time until we take out the all-time high. But it will take some more time. And you have to also understand in the bigger picture, Bitcoin has been going up since 2009 relentlessly in the end of the day, right? Very volatile, sharp pullbacks, but it went up like crazy. And maybe it takes a little bit more this time to digest this big move over the last 12, 13 years, right? It could take a few more years maybe, who knows? And fundamentally speaking, it would be more regulation, of course. That could be basically preventing a real new bull market. More regulation, more clarity, as you said, rightly. But at the same time, I don't think governments want to see Bitcoin succeeding. And if this whole talk about CBDCs, I mean, we have to expect that they're coming with something in the next few years. And if that's happening, we're all going to be digital slaves of the central banks. And I don't see the crypto sector being strong enough and united enough at the moment to really put something against it. Instead, it's so fragmentic. As I said already, there's so much scam and so much bad players and projects that are just not good in the market. And there has been so much greed and so much speculation. So I hope that at some point we will find this way towards decentralization and DeFi, because it could take mankind into a better future. But so far the promise has not been fulfilled, I would have to say. And if governments want to regulate Bitcoin really hardcore, it would mean, yes, Bitcoin, the network itself is decentralized. You could trade via satellites with some other freaks, but not the vast majority of people will be able to do that. So we are far away from a mass adoption. If the Fed at some point will be forced to pivot next year maybe, then we are back on the road to the cracker boom, to hyperinflation. If they continue to use the sledgehammer and push interest rates higher like they are doing since 10 months, it's going to be a big depression like the 1930s. Well, 50 years since the end of the gold standard, massive balance sheet expansions, massive printing of money. Any problem basically has been kicked down the road by printing more money. Never ever has any politician or central bank coming up with some real solution here. They've been only buying time. Now we have high inflation for the first time in many decades. And I think it shows that this fiat money system is not working anymore. And that's why the central banks are so much under pressure to come up with their CBDCs. If they manage to be faster than the crypto world, so to speak, then we end up, as I said, a digital slave. So, well, I mean, if some unelected central bankers can basically create money out of thin air and then track how you spend your money, where you spend it, and allow you to spend it or not allow you to spend your hard-earned money. Also dictate what type of interest rates you're gonna earn, that will dictate what you can do with it, and track any way that you spend your money. I think it's not a very nice outlook for all of us, and it's actually quite the contrary to what the mankind has been working over the last few centuries, right? Bitcoin has been a very volatile investment, which also made it very difficult for people to hold on to it. So yes, there was always the hope and the idea of Bitcoin, and I always loved it for that. But we have to see how it plays out, because we are now more than 11 years into the inception of Bitcoin, and so far we don't really see mass adoption. What we see is people trading it, holding it. The Lightning Network is still not really catching up, and there's been so much fighting within the crypto world, basically. So many different concepts. On the one hand, it's good. I believe in a free market and everybody can try out things. But I think also a lot of energy and money and time has been lost on all these stupid fights between who has the better protocol, which token, which network is better, which tokenomics are better, etc., etc. So we are in a crypto winter right now. I take things more easy. I don't need to trade the whole time. Instead, I think the sidelining and like being patient and just waiting. You don't need to chase anything right now, because I think stocks will be lower at some point over the next few months.